Welcome to this podcast called Lyttelos, or Listener's Pilot in English. My name is annabel.guaita and I'm a classical pianist. We're here in Barcelona. I'm very happy to see you again. Jordi Mora.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Same.
We have been teacher and student for almost 30 years now.
Yes.
And it's very nice now because it's like we are looking back, both of us, to what has happened and how how the impact you made on my choices as a musician. And I want to just share the best memory I have with you was I came here to Barcelona to study with a pianist, Albert Atenelia. It was in '94, and I had wonderful lessons with him. And I didn't know that you were teaching at this Escola de Música de Barcelona.
Mm-hmm.
You were teaching chamber music.
Yes.
You were around 40 years old?
Yes. 45, so.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we formed a group, me and a cellist and a clarinet player, and we had lessons with you 3 times a month.
Excuse me. At this year, I was 40, exactly 40, 41, 93. Yeah.
And I remember you as this strong, incredible, radiant, powerful teacher that, just opened the Pandora's box for me with music. And I was like, what? Nobody has been talking about music in this manner. You are showing me something that I don't really know what is. It's connecting with me as a human being. And then after 1 or 2 lessons, I ran out and bought a recorder, one of these DAT players, and I said, I'm going to record every word you say about music. And that became this journey for 30 years. And
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember this fish stitching with you. Yeah.
I was like shaking because it was very strong, what you were saying. And you were, how long time was it since you were finished with Celibidache at that point?
Well, I knew Celibidache. I met him November 73. I went to Germany to study conducting when I was at the end of 19 years old. And then my parents asked a special important person here in music, classical music, where's the best place? Because I could have gone also to the United States. I had the possibility to go to Indianapolis. And then this person said no, if he wants to learn music, Germany. Yeah. And I was very happy because Germany is the language of Beethoven, Bach, and Mozart, and so on. And I had the intuition that I didn't know very much, but I liked the idea. So I went to the Bayreuth Festspiel in August 73, and afterwards I went to Würzburg to study conducting. Why Würzburg? Because in Würzburg it was one Catalan conductor, a little bit older than me. I was 20. That he was studying already with Celibidache. I knew Celibidache from name, but not really more than this. No? I went into the high school of music in Würzburg, but not as a conducting because I couldn't play piano well enough. So I started with oboe, and I did the whole studies in oboe. And then I met Francesc, that was this Catalan conductor, and he told me, do you want to be a conductor? Yes, and I'm looking for something which gives me answers to many questions that I have since many years. No? Well, I am with Celibidache. If you want to come to Stuttgart, that was 180 kilometers from Stuttgart. I didn't choose it. I was put it there. So I went with Francesc, November 73, and the first thing I experienced with Celibidache was a choir rehearsal. And the choir rehearsal was the Mozart C minor Mass. And I was without words because this is what I'm looking for. After 5 minutes rehearsal, this is what I'm. But the first experience with Celibidache was with choir, was not with orchestra. So that's something. Yeah. And he gave, after the rehearsal, a class, teaching of the people who were there. All the rehearsals were open with him. You could always get in. And then in the teaching, he started to speak about relationship, about phrasing, and then started to phenomenology, which for me, I had no idea what this is. No? But the most important thing is the questions that I had with 15, 16, 17 and so on about music. And these first 5 minutes of rehearsal, I knew here's the answer. I knew it.
It's very similar to what I experienced when I met you, because my questions as a student, I had already been studying piano for 4 years. And I had this impression that musicality is very subjective. You do a little bit here, you do a little bit there. This is very nice moments, but where's the direction?
Absolutely.
I was lost. I felt really lost. It's like musical parts, which is like, how does it connect with the beginning? And there was no answer to this. So this sense of finding some kind of superior idea about musicality.
Yeah, that's the point. Because what I felt is that in the music world, either you have players which they play very subjective and very so as they want, without not really criterion. And on the other side, you have music analysis, form analysis, very straight and very complicated sometimes. So the world of thinking in music was separated of the world of doing. Doing and thinking, they were separated. So, and I was looking for some knowledge which has directly to do with doing, with playing, with singing, with conducting, but directly. And it has to be a very intelligent person, which is at the same time a fantastic musician. It has to be both. And I didn't stay with Celibidache because he was so nice and so fantastic. Well, he was also very, very difficult with treatment sometimes. No? But because he represented for me the person which unifies the playing of music, the realization of music, with what you have to know to make the realization better. O sea, to go into the realization. Not speaking about music, this is C major, G major, there's first thema, second thema, this is all static. I learned with him that the knowledge can be incredible static facts, isolated facts, and facts which are true, but it doesn't help you to go into the piece. And then I saw that phenomenology of music, which Celibidache took from Husserl and from Ansermet, philosopher Husserl, who grounded the phenomenology at the first half of the 20th century in Germany, in Freiburg. And then also Ernest Ansermet, a little bit later, took some ideas of Husserl, and he was in this direction. But Celibidache was very, very constant and very consequent of applying the phenomenology in music, because he saw that it goes to the point. Phenomenology goes to the point, to the essence. And I was amazed to have found one person who make the both at the same time and make an unity of both, because I am very intellectual also, but intellectual alone is not enough. So that was my first meeting with Celibidache.
Yeah, so we're going to come a little bit closer to what is phenomenology, maybe for the listeners who is not so familiar with it. And that was also one of my first questions as a student, because one of my fellow students at the school, Sebastian, I talked to him and said, "Wow, this Jordi Mora, he's talking about music in a way that I never experienced before. What is his background?" Well, he said, "Well, he's speaking about phenomenology of music." So what is phenomenology of music? If you would kind of summarize it very, it's a big question, I know, but if we can kind of summarize, what is phenomenology itself?
Phenomenology in general is a method to understand reality so much as possible. That means that to understand reality, phenomenology goes away from science, which is a truth but out of the life experience of person, and goes away from too much personal understanding of the things, which the taste, it's very important. See, not too much subjective and not objective, which has nothing to do with life experience. Yeah? And phenomenology helps you, it's a method, intellectual method, of course, to little by little understand which is important, which is less important, which is not important at all, and which is essential. Yeah, that's why it's a method who helps very much to understand the things and the facts, but not from a static point, but from a vitality point, that you have the experience, you shake inside. So it is a knowledge who helps you to listen to music more deeply as before you knew it.
I know that Celibidache used to use this Heimweh, this theme from Grieg.
Yes.
Should we just try to go into that a little bit, just to make an example?
Yeah. And then in music, phenomenology is a special good, but because music is so abstract that one has the feeling he can do whatever you want. And thus, the phenomenology teaches respects the own singularity of every person. There are not two persons which are equal, but at the same time, there is something essential that all we have to discover to meet together what in phenomenology we call intersubjectivity. Yeah, to meet in the intersubjectivity. That means you are different as me, but if you listen to the essence of this phrase, of this part, and me too, we meet and witness the structure of this part. So it is very good that we go now to the first example, so that we have a direct experience of what I'm talking about.
Let's do that.
Let's
move to the piano.
Yes. So, this is a wonderful piece of Grieg Heimweh, and it is very clear. What is the structure of this melody? Is he repeats again and again the same ta-ra-ti, ta-ra-ta-ta-ta, ta-ra-ti-ra, ta-ra-ta, ta-ra-ti, ta-ra-ta-ta-ta, ta-ra-ti-ra, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. So it is very simple. Yeah. So the phenomenology teach us that everything is in evolution. It comes 4 times, but not one of these 4 times is equal. One will be the birth of the piece, then it will go to more or to less. We will see, that depends on the harmony. So there is an evolution. What we say in phenomenology is a landscape, which mountains and valleys. And the first mountain is like this, and goes back to the valley. The second mountain is a little bit higher, goes to the valley, but not so deep. And we have to listen to what Celibidache called the discovering of the landscape. Yeah.
Well, this evolution, you say, I remember you said this evolution is not something you choose.
No.
It's something that happens in us.
Yeah.
Either we want it or not. So that is the intersubjectivity or the essence of hearing. Either you're a musician or not.
So the difference will be not music. Ta-ra-ti, ta-ro-ta-ti-ti. Ta-ra-ti-ri-ta-to-ta-ti-ti. To-ra-ti-ti-ro-ta-ti-ti. To-ra-ti-ri-ti-to-ta-tri-ti. There's no evolution here. So you hear 4 times practically the same. But ta-ra-ti-ti-ro-ta-ti-ti. Ta-ra-ti-ri-ti-ro-ta-ri-ti. Already melodically, the second time, it goes a little bit more in the tension as is the first time.
Because of the height.
Because a little bit higher the note. That's right. So there's that's right. I'm speaking only melodically, yeah? And then again, ta-ra-ti, ta-ro-ta-ti-ti. Then you can think, if I listen again to the same thing, so that will be probably less, because I knew this already. I know that from before. And what I know has less tension of what is new. At the beginning is new, and then is no. But Grieg utilized the harmony to show us that when it comes back, it's not less, but it is more. So now
you're saying that just because it's repeating so much, the tendency of this tension is already very strong. So it's a little more second time.
And now it's equal, so theoretically it's less.
Theoretically it's less.
And then to close. That's right. But Grieg, it's just not only melody, but harmony. If you put the harmony, it becomes everything more clear.
Yeah, let's do it slowly and talk me through it.
Less. Less, but not so less as before. It's a little bit more as the first time that we went down. Now, important, listen to harmony. New harmony, new perspective. Doppeldominant, and now the most incredible dissonant. And realization. So with the harmony, I see evolution from begin towards more, and then when he repeats the same, the harmony opens more because the tension is greater. So finally, I'm going to the second part of the melody. Ta da dee dee da 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 da, ta da dee da 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 da, ta da dee da 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 da, ta da dee da 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 da. And here is what we call the culmination of the first. Yeah. So this is that's right. Yeah.
And that for me creates the perspective that
Yeah.
makes everything a part of the whole.
Absolutely. Because at the beginning we have 4 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we listen, the second is a little bit more than the first. So we have a bigger part. And we have a bigger second bar. So we have 4, and then we have 2 and 2. And at the end, we have one direction towards the culmination and one direction back. So at the end, we have just one phrase. So that is one of the most important things that phenomenology teaches us. First we have 4, then we have 2, and at the end we have 1. So the goal is to go to the 1. One phrase. I don't speak about one motif who repeats 4 times. I don't speak about one bow, 2 bows. I speak one melody. When I say one melody, everything is inside of this one. Yeah? And the structure of this one, it is like this is breathing. When we breathe, we inhale, there's tension, and we start to exhale, maximal force, and then goes to relaxation. So we go towards, we culminate, and we go back. Every breath that every human being does in life, it is like this. So music is not like this because it's a casualty. Music is like this because it's a mirror of the inner structure of human being, but in sound relations. So what make us happy is from multiplicity of notes and motifs and so, finally to go to the one melody. So how we play a beginner, a child which is, starting, or a mature person. Da da di da do da di di, da da di 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 do da di di, da da di. This is not music.
Equal, every note
equal, not evolution, not breathing, not going to, not coming back from. And this is the difference. That's why to go to music, we need notes, but music are not the notes. Music are the life experience of the result of the relationship between the notes.
Yeah, the relationships. I remember you said once that this melody is something like a history of the E.
Yeah.
Because the E is this first fundamental note. It's this. And then second time it's fifth.
That's right. And now, double dominant. That's right. And that goes to final. Yeah.
So that shows that this E is so dependent on its context.
Absolutely.
It appears so different. We experience it so differently if it's a fundamental note, a fifth or a seventh. And that's also this idea of listening to how it appears in the context. It's very interesting.
So notes, they have to tell us something, an history. Yeah. If there is no history, why you listen to an history, a nice history, when someone read it? because there's an evolution there. And now we go to the mountain and we found a fantastic lake. And this lake was a special flower which I was looking since many years, you see. So there's an evolution. Everything, mountain, lake, flower, you see. So in music, we have to go always towards something, or we go back from we have already found it.
That was a very difficult knowledge for me to understand in the beginning. But I think it has to do with because we always are in an evolution, isn't it? So the evolution is never static. It's never the same. That means that it's always towards or against.
Yeah.
Towards or coming back from.
Or coming back from,
It's very difficult to understand it on an intellectual level.
Yes. Yeah, the thing is, why we are happy, the feeling, the life experience when we get a whole melody, or when a child is playing note by note. What is the difference? Because we are evolution. That's the point. So there's a mirror of what we're, and then there's an identification with my essence by listening to relationship which has an evolution and it has a phrasing. Phrasing, I mean tension and relaxation. It breathes, it goes somewhere. So that's me. This identification. If it's equal and mechanical, I don't have any identification because I'm not mechanical. Human being is not mechanical, has nothing to do with machine, has nothing to do with repeat and repeat and repeat and going nowhere. And that is why phenomenology help us, teach us everything is in evolution, everything has to breathe, and everything has to be in continuity. I cannot do ta-da-da, dee-dee-dee-dee-da, and then go to the bathroom, and 5 minutes later, ta-da-dee-dee-da-da. That's not possible. Music obliges us. If you start, you have to finish, because the unity is so perfect in music that you cannot cut it in the time. By reading a book, you can read the book, 1 chapter, 2 chapters, you close the book, and the next day in the evening, you keep reading. That's possible. Better next day and not 1 year later. 1 year later, you have to start again. But it's possible to go on by making some cuts. If the book is very, very good, and like this, touching, you have to read. You cannot stop it. Yeah? But if you stop and you go 1 day later forwards, it is possible. In music, this is not possible. Music is so close, everything with everything, that it has to be done as a whole immediately. You cannot cut it in parts. And that's why music, this feeling of oneness, is so strong. And if you think Tolstoy, War and Peace, you have 1,200 pages, yeah? And you need 3 weeks to read it. Beethoven's 5th Symphony is 30 minutes. But what you experience in 30 minutes is incredible, because you have everything. You have erudity, lyrism, and suffering and joy, and very, very good structured. So music has the power in very short time to show incredible parts of your inner nature. You don't need 3 months or 3 weeks or 2 weeks. No. 30 minutes, it can be a whole life.
Do you think it's possible to grasp this big, long symphonies first time you hear it? Or do you need to really know it to get this continuity?
What is the... how is possible to have a unity? who builds the unity? The unity in itself is nothing, doesn't exist. The unity is the result of the relationship between the small parts. So the small parts makes the unity possible. So it is possible to listen to every small part the first time that you... No, it's not possible. But a Mozart symphony is a little bit easier to listen as a Bruckner symphony, for example. But you have to listen and to listen again and now again, and you start to catch relationships which at the beginning you didn't hear. So that's why it's necessary to make a study and to give you time to make this piece yours. Yeah, this is the one phenomenology sentence, a very important one. And so unity is the result of relationship of the small parts. So you have to become aware of the small parts, and that needs time.
Some of the strongest experiences I had during your teaching is when you were pointing to certain things in the music that you said to me, no, the composer has to have this chord. You're pointing at it's not possible to not have this chord. It's like something it's a consequence. Like, for example, when he's in the end, and you say it will drop too easily if it doesn't support.
You have to support.
We have to support it. So should we play the whole page, and maybe you can talk about the second time?
Yeah.
What it does.
Or you can start over in the second part already.
In the second part already, yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So when we hear after that, the middle part, this is A, B, A, yeah, there's 3 parts. We listen this completely different as the first time. Why? Because the first time, and now it starts to the evolution 1 octave higher. New, something is new, and something is similar. Yeah? This is a good composition. But it goes towards more. It makes evolution. And then there is a moment you think you go down, and Grieg writes crescendo. Bridge, and then goes back. Goes back from what? From one moment of the piece, which the tension was the most stronger. So, in one small motif, it takes birth and then goes and relax. But what happens in the small motif happens also in the whole piece. The whole piece is a question of start from silence. Yeah, always music comes from silence to go back to silence. That's music. Yeah? And when the end is an end, and when the begin is a begin, when the relationship between the evolution towards the culmination, it is proportional in harmonic relationship with the way from the culminant point to the end. So if you grow until the culminant point, and then you go back and you relax exactly the same tension that you have built until the culmination, then the end will be an end. And that's very important.
So it's balance. And
It's balance.
It's also discovering what gives tension and what gives us this tension.
Tension gives, first of all, everything what is new.
Everything what is new.
What is new
yeah. So sound
gives tension. And
silence.
That's right. So when it's new, yeah, when I do this, wow. And then when I experience this again, it is not anymore new. It's old. No, not old, but I know. So I don't know new tension. I know relaxation. This is a natural tendency. Yeah, this is the first thing. Yeah, combination of new things and know things. Yeah, and that the composer can make also to go against the natural tendency. For example, you hear here tarari tirarari torara tirarora torara tirarori tirarorira tirata. That goes down and down and down and down. This is too long down. That's why he writes torari tirarorari torari tirarora torari tirarora tirirara crescendo parita. So the melody goes down and the composer wants a crescendo. So he goes against the natural tendency of the pitch of the melody. And that creates tension. So you can go with the natural tendency or against the natural tendency. And the composer sometimes goes to that natural tendency against, to create this tension. And this tension for what? To have the culmination. And then how he's going back after the culmination. Here. Through a way which I already know. What is the essence of the sonata form? What is the recapitulation? Why recapitulation? Because I have to go back after the culmination, which is at the end of the development. So this is a fantastic example to learn many things. But one of the most important things of this piece is that he goes to the culminant point by going against the melody.
Shall we hear that?
Yeah. Yeah, but when you cannot start so much piano because there are 4 bars that you will go down. Start from the beginning. You will see, from the beginning.
Sorry.
And now, octave more. Ta-ra-dee-da-da-ro-da-dee. Less. Ta-ra-da-dee-da-da. And a little bit more. Ta-ra-dee. Dee-dee-da-da-dee. Dee-dee-da-dee-dee-pi-da-da. And relaxation. Shh, pianissimo, pianissimo. Annabel, pianissimo. That was not pianissimo. Very important, the pianissimo. Why? Because the pianissimo is the relaxation of this. Ti-ra-ra. ta, and now relaxation. Ti, da, da. And then yeah, go. And then how do I build the tension back? By experience the same as I did. I mean, ta, da, di. Same phrasing, but not so dramatical. And culmination also here, but not so dramatic because I know already.
But then he does.
And now tension, relaxation, and relaxation. Why it is so much tension with the F? Because F belongs not to E minor. That's why. F is a lot of tension.
But why doesn't he just... he could just stop there.
That's right, but here is there's a coda. Tension, and he says bye-bye. This is the bye-bye.
The bye-bye. But what is a coda? Because I remember it very much that coda was this...
The coda...
We learned at school that coda was this ending of a piece, and it was called a tale, but nobody explained the real phenomenological reason for a coda before you started to talk about this.
The coda is when you go back and you think it is finished, there is something lacking still. There's some tension inside us. And then the coda is necessary to liberate us from this tension by expressing a tension. So the coda is the last chance that life gives to us to have a wonderful end. This is the last chance. So, Greek thinks this is too simple. I cannot. So he takes this little tension that's still in us, and he expresses the tension. By expressing a tension, you liberate. It's like you have a relationship. Yeah, this relationship at the beginning is very nice, and then you fight. Yeah, there's a lot of playing, and then you go back. Okay, you make your way, I make your way, and we are friends. But at the end, you have the feeling, I have to call him once because there's one thing which is not clear. And then you call him, what you told me, it's very good, but you forgot that I did this because, and then they say, yes, you're right. And then you're free. Then you hang the phone, and this relationship is good end. This is not
left with tension.
Left in tension. You see, that's the coda. That's the last coda.
That's the coda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting to bring into bigger forms when you start to... I remember we did the Mozart sonata, this F major, and the F minor section in the middle was leaving tension.
Yeah.
And this, I don't know if I can play it now, but... And then in the end it's...
Yeah.
And you ask me, why does Mozart write this coda in major?
Yeah.
And you didn't want to answer me that lesson. You said, you have to think about it 1 week.
That is my system.
Yes.
That is Celibidache's system also. And Celibidache make questions, and he answer the question perhaps 1 year later.
This is a
Not
koan.
two. Yeah, because
not 1 week.
Yeah, 1 week or so. Why? Because important is not that you get the answer, but the way you make to answer this. And there were some questions he did never answer. And he took this to to the sepulture, you see, a sepultura, to the grave.
Oh, he took that the answer into
Yeah,
his
he never answered. So this is the last teaching already. Yeah? So you have to find it.
You have to find it yourself.
Yes, because you finally, every one of us, we are the best and finally only one teacher of ourselves. That is what.
But you took some of the knowledge from Celibidache and you structured it in different ways. I remember you were talking to me about the 4 essentialities.
Yeah.
Should we summarize it up with the 4 essentialities maybe? Because you've been talking about breathing here.
Yeah.
You call it, I remember you called it a 2-way directionality, which is opening and closing.
Well, we have already spoken about this. Not that the essentialities help us to have more order. So it is normal that every student, and this is also fantastic in phenomenology, because it gives you a lot of creativity. Because every of us are different. So if I teach you something, you just, when you understood really what I mean, there's a moment that when you explain to other people, you explain that in your way. That's normal. But it has to become yours. It's just not, Maestro Mora said this and this and this. And then, no. You have to practice this. It has to become yours, and then you teach this in your way, and the goal is the same. So I did that with Celibidache also, because it's normal. So the situation, if I'm teaching at the university or people which are only 4 years with me and not 30 like you, so I cannot teach in the same way. I have to give him 4 years, the maximum of information. I cannot wait. We will do this in 8 years. No. So I develop a way to teaching phenomenology, which is, it goes a little bit faster and gives you the whole important knowledge. Yeah. And this is what, if we have to find the essence of the piece, then we have to know which are the essence normally, not only music, but also in life. And the essence of music are the same, the essence in life. There's no difference. On the other way, the essence in music are this because we are like this. First, the human being, and then what human being does. Music. Okay, then music has to be like him. Yeah.
So the 4 essentialities, you always start with?
First one is that everything is in evolution.
Everything is in evolution.
So there is no 2 moments which are equal.
In our life as well as in music.
In our lives. Even if you think you are the same now and 5 years before, no, you are not. And you are not the same now and 1 day before.
Yeah,
we are in continuously change and evolution. And one started in the moment of the conception and will finish in the moment of the death. So like a candle, yeah? You put fire in a candle, there's no one instant that the candle doesn't have an evolution towards the end. Towards that. But we like this in the moment that we are born, the evolution, until we die. That will be the first essence. So we have to look at the evolution of the piece if you want to transform these notes in music. But how look this evolution? And then we come to the second. It is an evolution, so straight evolution? No. It goes up, it breathes. and then goes a little bit down. It goes up and a little bit down. It goes up a little bit down. So it's just not taro, ti tara da, tiro da da, tara tira da 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 da. You see? It breathes. It's very important. So first, it has to be everything in evolution, and second, this evolution has to breathe to become part of our essence. If you don't breathe, yeah, da 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 ti do da ti da 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 ti da, that doesn't breathe. So it doesn't not function, and this is only with evolution and breathing. You have two fantastic tools. That's what phenomenology gives you. Tools to what? To practice listening. To practice listening. And now it doesn't. Ta-da-dun, 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 ta-da-dun. It's too equal. Ta-da-dun, 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 ti-di-din, ti-do-da-ti-do-ti-do-ti-do-ti-do-ti-do-ti-do-ti-do-ti. Too equal. Ta-ro-da-ti-ta-ti-ta-ro-da-ti-ta-ti-ta-ti-ta-ti-ti-ti-ta-ti-ti-ta-ti-ta-ti-ti. You see how it breathes the piece, how it goes towards more tension or relax. This is very simple to understand, but very complicated to discover sometimes. Well, the phrasing can be very clear, or I'm totally lost, which is normal because there's pieces which are very complicated. But the way is to discover the topography, and the topography is how is the evolution and how is the breathing. That is the essence of topography.
That's the two first essentialities. And then the third one is a bit difficult to distinguish from evolution.
Well, no.
Continuity.
No. Yeah. Well, the third one, you have to make a good upbeat before you speak about the word. Yeah? No, pak. Yeah?
Okay. Sorry.
And the upbeat is, but it can be evolution and breathing. But one essence thing is I cannot stop middle of the piece, go to the bathroom and buy and then continue. It's impossible with music. So what happens? Music has to take place at once in total continuity. Because if not, you cannot cut the piece in parts like a theater piece, in three parts, no. You can make different movements, but even if you play in different movements, the silence between the movements are also in continuity. You cannot wait too much between first and second movement. And the silence that you do between first and second movement is not the same as the silence between second and third. And the silence between third and fourth normally is the shortest silence. Why? Because our consciousness works in total continuity. That's why. So if you want to go back to your own nature, what you do, it has to be in continuity. And music obliges us to experience continuity because you cannot cut it. And why continuity? Because breathing is a part of us, evolution is a part of us, and continuity is also a part of us. And the moment that you are created until the end, there is no one moment that the consciousness doesn't work. This is always there. And now sleeping, with dreaming, deep sleep, continuing, never stops. That's why if you do something, you are playing the piano, and suddenly sounds that phone. You see, it's very important. Okay, I have to answer. Boing. Okay, good. And then after 10 minutes, boom, again. And then you say, that's not possible. Because if there is something which breaks the continuity, that goes against my consciousness. So that's why yogis, they say, what you do it totally. concentrate in only one thing. Doesn't matter what you do. If you wash dishes, don't put music by washing dishes. Wash dishes, every corner, and then you will be faster, and you will wash better the dishes. Why? Because their consciousness is put it in this. Yeah, so that comes there. This is not only phenomenology; it comes also from yoga, and not today. Yeah, because today we did very much already. You will see that the essence of yoga is exactly the same as the essence of phenomenology. So, phenomenology comes from the Western world, yoga comes from the Eastern world, and the essence has to be the essence, not culture different and so on. No. And yoga, finally, the main point of yoga means unify. Yoga comes from yuch, unifying. Unifying what? The individual soul with the universal soul.
Which is the fourth and the most important essence.
Which is the fourth, which is the one, So, and then you have the three main columns, and then the column which makes the cathedral with full meaning, no? That you can. Why? Finally, what is the goal? To experience evolution, to experience breathing, and to experience continuity. What we are looking for, what is the one? One phrase with what we did at the beginning, half an hour ago. So I have this part and this part, relationship. I have a bigger part. I have four, no, at the beginning, remember? Then from four, I have two, bigger, and at the end I have one. So that's the goal. The goal is that everything is in part of the whole. And then begin, culminant point, and end. It is nothing but a big breathing. But one breathing. Go, combination, and back. So the goal is to have one. And this is in phenomenology. What in yoga is exactly the same. No difference.
So to round it up, why did Celibidache not write this method or this philosophy down in books? Or is it hard to grasp in words?
Well, you are making me questions that normally I need 1 hour to answer. I spoke about things with normally I need 4 hours already. We are speaking 1 hour, 15 minutes. So, the thing is, life is in evolution. We are never the same. So, I explain this to you now, and I phrase with my speaking. It's not only what I say, but how do I say it, that you understand. And then if you make such eyes and such a face, I try to answer in one way that you understand better now. So I adapt the knowledge to the explanation here and now. So if you write it, what I say today, you write it in a book. First of all, a book doesn't phrase. You have to phrase the book. The book is neutral. You can say, I have to go tomorrow to the cathedral. It's written. Who says to you, I have to go tomorrow to the cathedral, or I have to go tomorrow to the cathedral? And the book is not written. You have to discover. So, danger of what? Of many interpretations. Yeah, that's why there are so many Christians. They are Orthodox, they are Catholics, they are Evangelists, they are Coptos, they are Blim, and there's just one Bible. How is it possible? Because it comes from a book, and everyone interprets the book as he feels in this moment. So a book is a good information, but it's very dangerous don't to get the right meaning what the writer wanted to give. And in phenomenology, it's already very difficult to explain. By talking, it's already very difficult. If you write it, if I write, evolution is important and you have to breathe. One person, what does it mean? Breathing in music and so. I don't understand. Why he cannot understand just by reading? Because it lacks the example of sound, live sound.
Yeah. That's why this becomes alive when we are talking together and you are listening to me, I'm playing for you. And it will never die. It will always be necessary to be many people sharing the experience.
Absolutely.
I remember you said what you can demonstrate is not essential. What is essential is not possible to demonstrate.
Exactly.
And that's
the point.
Yeah.
Socrates, he didn't write anything because Celibidache is practicing the Socratic way of teaching, like me. Socrates was experienced the here and now and every moment. Depends. He was in the street with people and one makes a question. So he answered to this person and the here and now, and depends how the question is made. So next day, another person asks the same question. He will answer not equal because the answer. So this here and now, that's why Socrates didn't write anything. And Platon came and he started to write, and then you have the academy, and then start the problems, which is good, but not Rudolf Steiner wrote anything. Everything from Rudolf Steiner is the students who write in the conference. Well, and if you go higher, Buddha didn't write anything. Jesus didn't write anything. Why? If it's important, the New Testament, why did Jesus not write himself? Why? Because it's not possible. It is too essential to, if you write, there are so many possibilities of interpretation. And that is not essentially. That's why in philosophy it's very interesting, in theology also, but you cannot go until the end. Because the end is the life experience, which a book cannot give to you. Of course, there's a difference. If you read a book of Meister Eckhart, which is fantastic. Yeah, Meister Eckhart, the mystiker. Or Santa Teresa de Jesus, or San Juan de la Cruz. This mystical, when they write, but it's more poetry than writing. Like Nietzsche. Nietzsche is not a straight philosopher. He writes an aphorism. And what Nietzsche does is to inspire you so that you go far away from the words, what he writes. So he's between a writer and a spiritual leader. You see, that is the phenomenology is so much here and now that it is very difficult and even dangerous to write about. That is the reason why Celibidache, he wrote a lot of things, but he didn't publish finally. Because they will misunderstand. They will misunderstand.
The manuscript, is it lost or is it
no.
published?
The son has the manuscript.
Son has it. Wow.
Yeah. But
anyway,
the teaching of phenomenology is you become a phenomenologue when you are able to explain this. You need the book anymore. You, one person who starts the first, Maestro, can you give us literature about phenomenology? Yeah. It's normal. And I say a book from Husserl, Ansermet, Hindemith. He wrote a fantastic book, not about phenomenology, but there are so many phenomenological things. So book can be a help, but it can give you
the
an
direct
answer.
The direct experience.
Impossible.
So that's why music is fantastic, and it can show us the direct experience
Absolutely.
of the phenomena.
Yeah.
So let's round it up here. And we will continue this conversation, luckily.
Okay.